Hey, everyone. It is Kimberly and Syrena coming to you once again on this beautiful Tuesday. We wanted to talk a little bit today. Syrena and I were having a conversation just a little bit about, packing and people coming on trips with us. And, sometimes you see people who are completely organized. Like I need to take tips from them because they've got everything. And then others where sometimes you'll see, and I know my sister was one of those individuals. We went on a trip together and I saw her suitcase and it kind of was like stuff was everywhere. And I was like, sis, what are we doing? Where's the organization to this to help you feel a little more? Because she was trying to find stuff and couldn't. And so it was nice to just be able to introduce her to a few things. And I just talked to Syrena and I was like, hey, we do all of these trips and we take people all over the world, not making an assumption. We think in every way, shape, or form that any person who's wanting to come on a trip with us is completely capable of all of these things. But maybe there's something we could share in a quick tip today that you have done or haven't done, and it might help you in some way, shape, or form. So, Syrena, when you pack your bag, because everybody does things differently, are you a roller or a folder?
So I'm a folder.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a folder for a long time. I think I was introduced to rolling maybe like around camp age. And
Yeah.
that is just not my thing, right? And so I know we've discussed this and we'll jump into kind of what that now looks like or has evolved to over time. But I'm not a roller, and I know you've rolled before. I have not found it to allow me to get more in my bag, which is often my goal to get things in. I have found it to be beneficial as a parent
Mm-hmm.
that when I was sending Sid away, it was a way to keep outfits together. So, I could put the pants down, the shirt down, the underwear, undershirt, whatever was needed, socks, and then roll it to keep it together.
Mm-hmm.
But for my purposes of being able to pick out what I'm going to wear for the day, that doesn't serve me currently. So what's your experience with rolling, Kimberly?
Okay, so rolling for me is actually, it keeps the wrinkles down. So I find when I take something out, if I've rolled it, it's less than when I'm folding it and it has the creases. So that's just, but also I also try to pack, which some people may or may not know, there are clothing items that you can buy that are wrinkle free. So that does help as well. I like it because I can kind of get it a little tighter and push it up a little bit closer to the edge of my packing square, things like that, where I put things like that in. But it just depends. And then sometimes it's a fold for me because you can sometimes get something right on top and it works better. So it's just, some people have never heard of rolling before. And we just wanted to make sure that individuals who, you can try it, see how much you can get in and if there any more room one way or another with it. So that's it. The other thing I love, which I think because I live in South Florida, I use it a lot more now because we don't need jackets down here in South Florida. I have a jacket for when I travel to come see you, Syrena, and when I, go to see
Don't
other
rub
people.
it in. Don't rub it in, Kimberly. Just go with the jacket story. Don't rub in why
Don't
you
rub
want
it.
a jacket,
And
okay?
sometimes, take that jacket up there to those places. And so I have found that that is one thing I do not pack. I never pack my jacket. So I'm always going to be my carry-on. It'll be my blanket because I can take a carry-on and all of that. And it becomes actually an additional carry-on because sometimes I'll have a pocket on the inside, pocket on this side, and I can take things that are smaller items, but yet maybe taking up space in my laptop bag or something where I can't get, and I stuff my pockets and create more luggage, so to speak, space. So just a
I love
little.
that because I love keeping my hands free. And so I typically try to use a jacket in the same way on the plane. One, because it's going to be cold on the plane, the air is always pumping. And two, pockets with zippers really are helpful so nothing's falling out. And my hands are free. I don't know what that is, but the older I get, the more I don't want anything in my hands. And so that allows me to do that as well.
Yeah, I really enjoy that a lot. The other thing that I think when you're packing can be really helpful are compression bags. And it's not the kind when I thought of compression bags, when I first heard about it or whatever, was like, you remember back in the day when they first came out and you had to put the vacuum cleaner on there and then it sucked it out. I was like, who has time to do that? But they actually now have compression bags that you can buy, packing places, Amazon, any place like that. And you can roll it up and push the air out when you have it in there and really get a lot in your suitcase using not just what we call packing cubes, which we'll show you in a minute, but actual compression bags. So
Did you have one of those bags that you put the vacuum cleaner on?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought you might. So anyway, I knew some people who had it, but I watched. I'm one of those people, like even when like the iPhone comes out with the new download, like I'm like, let me see what problems that's gonna cause for people before I get it. So I watched people, and it was one of those almost like the food sealer. The food sealer got me. I bought one, and I was like, I never used this thing, so I understand the timing, right? But packing cubes, you mentioned them, and I have begun to use packing cubes over the last like 5 years. That's about what time they began to come out. And I laughed because as you and I were talking about this, I was like, oh, I actually still have clothes in a packing cube. And so for me, this particular packing cube is a medium. So as you see, it's like the width of my shoulders. In this packing cube, I'm just laughing because as we begin to talk about it, and you're like, are you a folder? Like, I'm a folder. And so, I have all my things in this packing cube. And so I have a pair of pants, another shirt, some shorts, a beach cover up, another beach cover up. And it has room for about 5 more pieces of clothing. And much like a compression bag, when it's in there and you zip it up because it has that beautiful mesh on top, the air doesn't get stuck in it. And I have become like a unofficial ambassador, because I don't have a brand that I go with, for the packing cubes. And then I also have some that come with the packing bags. This one says shoes go in it, so it's large enough for shoes. But I typically put my undergarments in there for the week or what have you, or sometimes my swimsuits and socks or my workout gear or something like that. And then I also use them to separate my clean clothes versus dirty clothes if I'm not washing my clothes before I come back, so that when I get home, I dump all my dirty clothes from that bag over there, and my clean bag, if I still have clean clothes, goes, up. So how about your experience with packing cubes? Are you using them?
I just started using probably a little less. I mean, like for you, more like 2 years for me, 2 or 3 years. So you were on the trend before I popped on it. But what I would say is that with the packing cubes, I like it because I tend to put, where you had a mix of things, I usually am like shirts are in one, or tops are in, the sweaters are in another, and this different size of the cube is what goes in my underwears. And so I like it because in a hotel, I like to unpack, but I'm not always a big fan of just putting my clothes in the drawer, because I don't know if they've wiped out, what they've done or haven't. So it allows me to unpack quickly. And then I have kind of like my underwear bag. So I'm like, that's my underwear drawer, instead of it being all in different spaces. So I like it.
We use them the same. That's my coming back clean bag
that
I just got back from, which is why it has that hodgepodge of stuff in it. But
yes, when it
was packed separated. But on the way back, this is what's still clean. So this is what has to go in this bag.
There it is. So so it's the same thing. And you designate your clean one, and so we use them very, very similarly. And I like I said, I can't imagine packing now without them. Just because I like the organization of my suitcase. And this is the other part. I've always, when you have your carry-on bag and you have the packing cubes in there, and all of a sudden you forget something and you need to open up your bag in the airport, you don't feel so exposed. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me that feels like when you open up your bag and the people are looking and they can't really see, all they can see is these cubes. And then exactly where you need to go to get what you need to get. So I really appreciate it for those things. So we just wanted to come in real quick, Anything else that you wanted to tell everyone, or we're good for today with?
Listen, just keep traveling,
Yeah.
keep packing, try it
Mhm.
out, whatever works for you. But there are some things that really work and that help you operate the way you want to.
And we want you to come on a trip with us to one of our retreats in 2024. And if you go to our website, www.embracingnewness.com, you will see the trips that we have listed for 2024. And we hope that you will join us with your immaculately packed suitcase ready to go with us in this next year.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.